Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello and welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 340 for February 6th, 2020. I'm one of your hosts, Adriel.
I'm another one of your hosts, Trevor.
And I am the last one of your hosts tonight, Random Dave.
Random Dave, joined sometimes by Steve the Cat.
Yes, Steve. I like Steve.
Mm-hmm.
I like Steve more than I like
We like
Trevor.
Steve.
That's mainly why I stay with him when I'm out in New Brunswick, is just to visit the cat. Nobody tell Trevor though.
Dude, most
And
people
his
come
wife, of
here,
course.
and once
She's
they
really nice.
come here for me, they come back for the cat. You know what I mean? Like they meet me, but then when they meet Steve, it's all about the kitty. And I get that. I can't compete with Steve. He walks around with his head cocked to the side with this cute little effeminate meow. Like, how do you not love that?
No, he's so adorable and cuddly and chubby little thing.
He's not chubby. He's big boned.
Well, okay, Rubenesque.
He's a chonky unit.
He is chonky. He's beefy.
It's beefy. He works out.
Yeah,
With the
that's
cat
right.
ball.
He's accumulating mass. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of accumulating mass, what we did in Guns this week is brought to you by the Calgary Shooting Center, Canada's premier firearms retailer, and that mass is the Marlin 1895 CB4570 that they have. You'll be firing out 400 grain projectiles out of this 4570 government. if you're using the right projectiles, you could use 300s, but why? When there's
Right.
400s.
Why?
Yeah.
Comes with a 9-shot magazine. It's lever action, so it goes like this. It's not like this. It goes like this.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hey, I don't even know what kind of assault weapon that is.
Very old westy.
You know,
Yeah.
hunters like them like this because they're accurate, and mass shooters like them like this because you can just spray a lot of
Yeah,
bullets.
yeah,
and it's
it's-
not accurate at all.
don't forget about that front foregrip too. You need 2 pistol grips for an assault weapon
Right.
Yeah.
So you can spray the assault.
and miss. Hunters don't like those.
No.
No, I never understood that theory, because if I'm going to shoot a bunch of people, don't I want to hit them? Like,
Not required, I guess.
Mass shooters don't like guns that hit people.
The AR-15 can shoot 15
Apparently
people a
not.
second.
in space.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, if you want a 4570, check out Calgary Shooting Center. Trevor, did you want to start us off with what we did in Guns this week?
Okay. So let's start off with my Shadow 2 here. I ordered a spring kit from Czechoslovakia and a short reset disconnector and a competition hammer. Springs were worth it, but Casper already hooked me up with some springs. But this one was a 9-pound recoil spring. Doesn't feel like super light for 9 pounds, which I think is a good thing, right? There's a buffer in there, so I'm not worried about beating up the gun. I went to a 10-pound main spring, and I've got a digital trigger scale here, and let's see what we get now on the double action. So 6.85. So, even though I went to a 10-pound mainspring, it's still almost 7 pounds. 7.6.5 that time.
You swapped in the competition hammer.
Yes.
You might need to get some trigger time on it to wear it in.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. The hammer and short disconnector is supposed to really clean up the reset. And I got to tell you, when I first put it in, I wasn't impressed, and I thought, don't do it. Don't spend your money on the competition hammer and the short reset. Now, I don't know, man. Like, here you can see it in the video. Let me try and get it centered here.
Yeah, it looks
there we
good.
go.
Oh, Yeah. It's pretty short.
It's pretty short. But here's the redback. It's now as good as the redback, I guess. Like I've said many times, the redback has. It may have actually.
Well, they're both based on the same system.
Correct.
They're both like a CZ75 style pistol, and there's only really so far you can take that trigger style before it's unsafe to use. Like you couldn't shorten it to like a fraction of a millimeter, right? Huh? Oh wait,
Dave
sorry.
knows.
I think we have someone on the show who's got personal experience with this.
Found out.
Yeah. There's something gritty in the redback right now. I don't know what it is. If it's a spring that's out of place, but it feels a little different. But anyway, I installed the short reset and competition hammer into the Shadow 2, and it's definitely nice. Definitely nice. I was hoping for a bit of a lighter double action, but like you said, Adriel, with a little bit of trigger time, it may get better. It's fantastic. It's still fantastic. I'd like to compare it now to a bone stock Shadow 2 to really see how much better my reset got. Because it's not like hi Kim. Kim's on.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
No story. No
gallon.
tonight.
We have a gallon fan on the feed. So anyway, yeah, it definitely makes a difference. It's definitely better. I want to compare it to a bone stock to see exactly how much better. But it's good. Okay, what else did I get up to? I was fortunate enough to acquire 2 more of my father's firearms from the executor of the estate. I just, I don't know what happened with them. I don't know. They weren't specified in the will. Did he give them to my uncle before he passed? I don't know what was up with that. My uncle said my dad wanted me to have the 1022. I got the 1022. So then I asked him if he would be willing to sell me my father's Lee Enfield. I told him it was the first centerfire rifle I had ever fired, and if possible, I'd like to purchase it. So my uncle said, well, you can have it. It's not mine to sell. So excellent. Here it is. So it is a completely sporterized #1 Mark III. And I mean, it's sporterized. The barrel has been cut, and it has, yeah. I mean, it was well done. Whoever did this did a good job. Everything is straight and true and stuff.
How's that 5-round mag work? Is it reliable?
We'll get to that. I told you, man, it's completely been bubbed. I remember it being reliable. I don't remember it ever being a problem. But that just offends me that people would do that. But the front sight was well done. The rear sight is factory. The clip guide has been cut off, so that's unfortunate. So the receiver's been molested a little bit. Do you remember me telling you, Adriel, that my all full wood #1 Mark III wouldn't cock the hammer or wouldn't cock the bolt anymore?
No, I don't think you did mention that.
The trigger was like, when I got it, I was like, oh my God, it's so good. And you're like, you better drop test it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was showing it to somebody the other night and it wouldn't cock.
I remember that.
Yeah. So like, what has worn that it won't cock?
Or loosened.
Anyway, what's that?
Or loosened. Like if the sear is too low and it's just not catching on the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I need to check everything. But in the meantime, I took the bolt out of my father's #1 Mark III and put it in my #1 Mark III and so on, and everything works. So this is actually the bolt out of my #1 Mark III, and the bolt out of this gun is in my gun, and they both work fine. So
show us that magazine. You gotta show us the magazine.
I'll save the magazine for last. It's this was issued. This is a 1917 SMLE, so it is a short magazine Lee Enfield. From 1917. It's got a bunch of marks on it, or markings on it.
Looks like a trio tree to me.
It is. This is exactly what they would refer to in New Brunswick as a tree-aught tree. That's what this is. So yeah, unfortunately, there's the magazine. Many a FUD. Yep. Many a FUD thought that the 5-round capacity was applicable to all center fire, not just semi-auto. And there are several of these destroyed magazines around Canada and around New Brunswick. Took a 10-round magazine, chopped it, and welded the base plate back on.
Yeah, braised probably, eh?
Yeah, braced.
Yeah.
Yep, it's been neutered, Dave.
I think I just threw up and.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry. I'll put it back.
As someone who has molested like magazines and guns like all over the show, I love it.
Yeah, I don't like you shut up, you filthy peasant.
Yeah.
They left just a little bit so you can pull it out if you need to. Like if it was flush fit, you would, yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to feed with stripper clips right now.
Yeah, the guide's been chopped off, so.
You just top feeder.
Yeah. So the other gun I got back, this was never mine. I got the Bacale from him. They're both IJ18s, I believe. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, it's a no, I didn't put it in the notes. I think it's a Bacale IJ18. Anyway, I've got one in 20 gauge. It was the first shotgun I ever fired, and I traded it with him recently because the Bacales have an internal hammer and they have this little cocking pin on the back of the tang that sticks out. This little pin right here that I'm pointing to for the people who are watching, that tells you that the gun is, the hammer's cocked and the gun's ready to fire. They've got some scroll work on them. It says made in USSR. This one has a duck on it on one side and a quail. Yeah, quail on the other side.
Partridge.
And nope, it's not a partridge. It's actually a woodcock. Sorry, it is a woodcock.
Prairie grouse.
Russian letters and 18M, also known as the IJ18. Anyway, so when I get down to my uncle's to pick up the 303, he says, "Yeah, I also have your dad's 12 gauge if you want it." I'm like, "Do I?" The first shotgun I shot was that 20 gauge Bacale, but then this is the one that I would take hunting when I was in high school. I started off on the 20 gauge, but then very quickly graduated to this one. So I have bagged many a grouse with this shotgun, and it's not super fancy, but I am definitely proud to have it in my collection. And I had found the butt plate on his workbench downstairs while cleaning up, but unfortunately he had this butt plate on it. My father had something for increasing the length of pull on his shotguns. There it goes. Whatever, it's gone.
And a little bit of softness on that as well, right?
Sure, it's a recoil pad, but it was very ill-fitting. It did not fit the back of the firearm at all. So fortunately, I found the original butt pad and put it on. So yeah, she's complete again. So nice to have that back in. Well, not back in, but in my possession. So, and it could be, a little birdie told me that there's also a double barrel Bacale coming my way. Oh, stay tuned for more on that. I wouldn't say I'm a fan. No, Kim, you're not a fan. Graffel makes a hammer spring for the Shadow 2 now. Of course he does. Tim Thomas, is pointing out the fact that Eric Graffel switched from Tanfoglio to CZ. When Eric Graffel was shooting for Tanfoglio, he came up with his own line of aftermarket hop-up parts, go-fast parts for your Tanfoglio pistols, and then they actually started to sell the pistols with all those parts, and they called it the Extreme line. So all of us are speculating it's just a matter of time before he does that for the Shadow.
Is that how that worked? Huh.
That's how that worked. Yep. Well, this gun here, this is a limited custom Extreme. So what that means is Tanfoglio just put all of Eric's parts on it and sold it as is. And Eric was apparently working on them himself before they went out of the factory initially. And this is one of the first generations. And this gun, I believe, was touched by the hand of Eric. It actually comes with a certificate of authenticity, and it's signed by him and all that stuff. And the reason why I think that he did touch this gun is this is the only firearm I've ever owned that I've not wanted to modify or improve. Right out the box, it shot well, it fit well, and I've never had any desire to touch it. I think the only thing I may have done is I may have gone to a lighter recoil spring. So that's the Extreme line. When he he had picked up a 1911 for a while, so I bought a couple of Tanfoglio 1911s thinking, okay, he's got a world championship in every division except classic. He's going to go after classic next. This is just me speculating and wishing, right? So I bought some Tanfoglio 1911s before their price went through the roof. And I was also anticipating an extreme line of 1911 parts, but my dreams were shattered when he went to CZ.
There's already a pile of people that make like extreme parts for the 1911.
Yeah, and right now, I think honestly, the best way to go since STI has turned very cucky, Bull, man, just get Bull parts. The Bull parts. Bull is making some race pistols, and they're providing a lot of affordable aftermarket STI parts. So, okay. Next, my nephew is home early from university. And he is gone to get his firearms license. He's actually downtown right now, about 5 kilometers from me, sitting in a classroom, taking his. Yeah, thank you, Adriel. It's like downtown Bonneville, or yeah. So
downtown one block that way, and the outskirts of town 1 block that way.
That's right. Yeah, both sides of the tracks are the wrong side of the tracks in this town because it goes right through the middle. Anyway, he's taking his PAL course. So he came here yesterday. We went through some of the stuff in the book, Axe and Prove ad nauseum. It's on every second page. And I brought him through how to do the manual of arms on all the different action types. Basically, I was getting him ready so that when he picked up a firearm, he would handle it in such a way that the instructor could very easily tell that he knew what prove meant. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just an acronym that he memorized, And I told him, I was like, say them out loud while you're doing it. I am pointing. I am removing the ammunition. I am observing the chamber. I am verifying the feeding path. I am examining the bore with a cleaning rod. So anyway.
Do cleaning rod now?
Yeah, they've stopped asking you to point the gun at your face. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah, right. Treat every gun as if it's loaded. Now point it at your face, dummy. I mean, jeez.
I get very upset at the range when people have just taken their PAL. They're like, "Now I'm going to look down the barrel." I'm like, "Why would you look down the barrel?" Because I fired the gun. What are you expecting to see other than firing pin, like in a bolt face? I don't know. My instructor told me to do it. Well, your instructor is an idiot.
Exactly.
So, next.
Yeah, I tell people if they acquire a firearm, they don't know, but it doesn't matter. I tell everyone if you acquire a firearm that you've never fired before, you need to inspect the bore.
Oh, absolutely. But not at the range.
No, not if you just fired it and you see a bullet hole in your target. What are you doing, numpty?
Exactly. Yeah.
So following the steps for safety, guys. You're not following the steps. You're teaching the wrong stuff based on what's in the CFSC.
My instructor actually told me that the reason you always check a gun is because your buddy at the range might have put something down the barrel as a joke. That's what he said.
It's mean buddies.
You need to start shooting with better people that are less stupidest.
Yes, that's right.
What the hell?
Yeah. You want to make sure that then we put a 20 gauge into your 12 gauge barrel, right? That'll ruin your day. But anyway, and then finally, my uncle, the guy who's the executor of my father's estate, wants to build a target rifle. He is into firearms. He is into reloading, and he really likes high speed cartridges like varmint stuff. And he wants to get something built in 6mm 250. So this is a 22 250 cartridge or case, or the Savage 250 case.
What a weird cartridge, man! Just shoot a 243.
Gets right. That's what everybody else. Listen, you can't. No, you don't know. He knows. You don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
Not only does he want a 22 250 necked to 6mm, it must have an Ackley improved shoulder.
Oh my God.
Well, I have a deal for you. 6mm Creedmoor is a thing, and it has a nice sharp shoulder on it, so your case flow isn't all that bad, and it's probably got all the stuff he actually wants, but in a commercially acceptable chambering.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Right there.
You don't know.
Do you have one right there, Dave? Is that a 6mm Creedmoor?
Hold on. One of these is a 6mm. Oh no, that's a 6.5.
You know
'Cause
what?
they-
I don't.
Mhm.
I don't have a 6 or a 6.5 in my collection.
Would you like some? I got a bunch of
Of
duds.
course I would.
Okay, I'll bring you some in the summer.
Giddy up.
I don't know where my 6mm went.
They got a pretty sharp shoulder on them. They're like, if he's after efficiency, like most guys who are chasing the Ackley thing, they're pretty efficient and pretty low flow case design. Like your super sloped shoulders there will flow more, and you won't get as many reloads out of them. But the sharp stuff is generally better and has better capacity, right?
No, there it is.
Perfect.
So there's a 6,
Mhm.
and there's a 6.5 on the bottom.
Cray. Yeah, those shoulders look reasonable to me, right?
Yeah.
They're not the silly Ackley shoulder. So
You know what I always tell people is, realistically, is he going to hand load? Because he's going to have to hand
of
load.
course,
for that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah,
He
so he's all
already
set
had-
up for that already?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't buy anything I can't buy at Canadian Tire.
Well, I mean, Dave, I believe there was only 3 cartridges: 223, 308, and 30-06. Everything else is just a gimmick.
30-06 can kiss my ass. 308, but
Listen,
having that
if
discussion today. A buddy of
you-
mine posted on Gun Nuts. He said, "Yeah, I was drinking a lot over Christmas, and I decided to be a dick, so I went on Gun Nuts and posted, here's all the cartridges I hate, 30-06." He said he had like 3,000 replies.
Figured. The only thing I have to say when it comes to the 308 versus 30-06 debate is people have the audacity to say the 308 today with modern powders will do what the 30-06 used to do. Well, guess what, Sparky? That same logic applies to the 30-06 because generally they use a lot of the same powders. So if the powder development has gotten to a point where the 308 outperforms the old 30-06, well then guess what? Those powders help the 30-06 perform to like 300 Win Mag standards. I mean,
If you needed to,
just
And
keeps
which
going up the chain.
You don't need it to perform at that.
No, you don't. You don't. I mean, I've got a 30-06 that I shoot a 165 Hornady SST bullet out of on top of 52 or 54, I can't remember, grains of 4064. And it's sub MOA out of my rifle, and I'm sure I've never cronied it, and I don't care because guess what? It's still a 30-06. It's gonna mess up a moose or a deer or like
And in the bushes of New Brunswick, when you're
Right.
50 yards away from your moose or whatever, you just crank
Your
it.
308
Yeah.
would have dropped it just as easily.
Sure, yeah.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But
And that's my thing with 30-06 is I look at it and I'm like, for all practical ranges, to me, unless you're firing a really heavy bullet, I don't know. I don't see what the point is.
Tell you what, what's the point of 308 when you got 6.5 Creedmoor?
what's the point of
Ooh, dun, dun, dun.
Let's
Well
really
done,
throw
kid.
down.
what's the point of 300 Win Mag when you got 30-06?
What's the point of 30-06 when you got 303?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's really throw down here.
It was good enough for my great granddad to shoot at the boars. It's good enough for me.
You may have put a few too many grates in there, like you went all the way back to Schneider Enfield on those grates, my friend.
Well, maybe I'm really old. I don't know.
Could
We're really
be.
young.
Could be, but the cartridge is not as old as you just made it sound. So, to wrap up, I am on the hunt for a large ring Mauser action because this build has to be on a Mauser action.
Oh, that's harkening back to some yesteryear stuff. You got to get This is stuff that I used to read in like gun books when I was like a little kid. You get a large ring Mauser action, and then you build it on some weirdo cartridge, and you
Welcome to my
blueprint
world
it.
right now.
You bed it in a wood stock.
Of
and,
course. You're
Then
finally starting.
Then you tie an onion on your belt and you pay for it with 2 nickels with a bumblebee on them.
Such was the style at the time. Oh man, yeah. All right, Adriel, what about you?
Let's see. I haven't been shooting again. It's just been weird timing, but I did a bunch more maple seed arranging. Got some of that
Excellent.
arranging going on, so gonna be doing a whole ton of those things. Bought some CCI standard velocity on the show last week when we were on it. That Mag Dump, that local company here in Edmonton, they were selling a CCI SV for, again, the cheapest I've seen it in a year or two. So I got like I don't know how much I got. Maybe 2,000 rounds, something like that. That sounds like me. Yeah, I got some 1911 grips. I ordered them from AliExpress, so they came straight in from Wuhan. And
Do not say the price, because we just sold the set from the shop, and I don't want that person to be upset.
Okay, but they weren't like Chinese ones, right?
No, they were Colt. They were really nice.
Okay, these are not Colt grips.
Okay.
By
Probably
any
worth
means.
like $5 that
Because-
Adriel paid or whatever it was.
Because this guy
10.
paid probably.
Oh, big spender.
This guy probably paid, almost a fourth of what they would be worth, really, but still not what you paid. Remember, like when you opened up that package, you breathed in the coronavirus
I took
air.
a nice
You know
deep
that.
breath. Yeah, I got it
Okay.
right in there.
All right, and you're like, that
I'm gonna go visit
that
some
soup.
old folks' homes after this and
Cough
on
on
their
them.
food. Yeah,
Yeah.
cough right directly into the mouth if I can.
Look at me.
But
Look at me.
Go eat a bat.
You're the devil.
You're the one who hates orphans.
yeah,
but I wouldn't cough in their. Wait, no, I would totally cough in their food.
there we go.
Assuming you
Anyways,
gave them food, of course.
yeah, so I got 2 sets of grips in. One was like a
Why?
laminate with checkering on it, and the
Mhm.
other one was a Cocobolo smooth grip, and they were $10 a pair. And
I said.
the holes on them needed a little bit of extra finesse because they were not deep enough, and the screws like sat way proud on them. So I had to put some work into them. They're not like pull them out of the box, put them on your gun, and you're done because it's AliExpress.
I don't even know what AliExpress is.
It's Amazon, but only for stuff from China.
So it's Amazon.
No, Amazon. Most of the stuff for Amazon is located here, so the shipping will be fast with Amazon. The
all
price
made
will
in China,
always be
then.
a little bit more. Whereas on AliExpress, the price will be the best. The shipping will take a while,
Yeah.
and it
Fast
might
boat
come
from
with a free coronavirus in there if you want one, right?
Ooh.
Bonus, yeah. Yeah. Now that I like put them on my guns, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I was even thinking, but it was $10 a pair, so I don't really care.
It's only the environment. Screw that guy.
Someone had to put it on a cargo ship and burn bunker oil to bring it over here, but fantastic. Now I see I don't like it. Now that I see it in my hand,
Yeah, no kid. Well, what did you expect? Do you really go?
I
This will
don't
be
care though. Like
the
a lot of
greatest thing I have ever purchased for $10.
a lot of this stuff I get off eBay or AliExpress or something like that. I buy it and it's like it might work and it might not, and I don't really care. I just want to like try it out, and if it doesn't work, fantastic. I'll do a review on YouTube, and I'll make $50 off the ad revenue from that, and the thing cost me 10. So who cares?
Yeah.
Huh?
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Bring me some of yours. Guys, they just canceled school for tomorrow. That's how bad the snowstorm is going to be. They're calling for up to 40 centimeters. I've never seen school canceled the day before.
40 centimeters?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Bring some of that here. We got squat. It's annoying. We're
She's
supposed to
so
get
excited.
20
She
20 today.
ran up the stairs to tell me she's out of breath.
Sweet.
Adorable. Hey.
Hey. Trevor's better half on the show.
Much better half.
Yeah.
Oh, stop. They keep calling you the better half.
Vastly superior half.
Bring me a
Maybe
drink and a
better
sandwich and I'll
quarters.
consider it.
What else? I gotta buy another AR-15 buffer. I had one. I've got like my safe is bolted to the wall. It's got a space underneath it because I don't have it like right on the floor. I've got it on like a little mini pallet, and a buffer like rolled under that thing, and I can't get it. It's gone. So I'm gonna have to buy another buffer, but that's okay. I wanted another one anyways because I've got that little 10-inch AR, so I'm gonna get like an H2 buffer or something like that. Maybe make it cycle a little bit better. Yeah.
And when you move, you'll have one of those things like finding a 20 in your winter coat in the next fall.
That happened to me. I put on my leather coat the other day. Unfortunately, it was $15, but whatever. It still went on, horrible things.
Still a happy
that
surprise.
happens. Yeah, man.
I found that in my pocket this year when I went through my winter jacket. I had 5 slugs sitting in there. I'm like, woohoo! That's even better than $20.
Yeah. Score.
Whatever those went.
Yeah. And then I think I'm going to hit the range this weekend. get some reviews going. I've been sitting on a couple of 22s. I got to review them, so I'm gonna go get some rounds downrange and get some footage and test some accuracy and reliability and whatnot. I've got a Savage 64 takedown, Savage 822, and more. I don't know. I can't even think of what how many guns I've got that are just like sitting there with the factory grease still on them, haven't been molested or shot or anything. And yeah, I got to get out and shoot those things. We've had a cold winter, so
I could take an inventory right now of guns that I've actually either only shot once or not shot, and it feels like half. If it's shot once or haven't shot, it's definitely half. Like, it's just silly.
If I didn't review guns, I would probably have the most boring utilitarian collection. I would have one good hunting rifle, probably a Tikka T3 in 308 or 6.5 Creedmoor if I wanted to get my soy boy on. I would have a AR-15, a semi-auto shotgun, and a pistol for 3-gun.
See, I don't even shoot my guns very much, and I've got 30. I'm not even sure how many guns I have right now, but I haven't fired 3/4 of them. So.
And how many of you, who among us, have bought a gun and sold it before we even fired it?
Yeah.
I sold a Tavor and an SL8 with them and never shot them.
But that's because we watch for deals and we know what the price of something is. So you might find something on sale for way below its market value and then buy it, and then one of your buddies is like, "Whoa, I need that." And you give it to him for a deal, still make a little more money on it.
Yeah. I also of course. I also think, Adriel, there was a time that I bought a gun from someone, and before it even made it to me, they turned around and shipped it to somebody else.
I have had that happen. Have you ever had...
Well, I feel like you were part of this.
No, I bought the... No. Yes, I think I was part of that too. It was one of those shotguns. Have you ever had a friend of yours sell a gun of yours without asking?
No, but Pospolita would do that. Never leave your stuff at his... If anybody was going to do this, it would be Posby. Posby broke into Filthy's house once and stole the modem out of his computer.
Okay.
Because he needed one or something. And, yeah.
I broke into a friend's house one time and swapped the RAM out of his computer because I needed 4 sticks. He had 4 in his computer, so I gave him 2 higher capacity sticks, stole his 4, and then let him know afterwards.
Yeah,
oh, that was a favor.
Yeah.
That was an upgrade.
Your computer's faster.
That wasn't a break and enter. That was a break and upgrade.
A break and upgrade. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I'm bad at this whole criminal thing. I'm getting there.
You got the right accent, though.
All right, that's it for me. Dave, what's up with you?
I actually have stuff this time. Dante Incorporated in Montreal had some stupid good deals on Nikon rifle scopes.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally got my beautiful Tasco 1980s high ring nastiness that was on my 1022. I found it in the parts box.
I want that for my 1022.
That's what it was on. If I find a really old 1022 around, I'm actually tempted to buy it and just leave this on it, just to have like all the classic optic, right?
I had one from 84. I think I sold it to Maple Seed.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was all original. All metal where the plastic is now.
Oh, that's cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Kelly, see if I can buy that from Maple Seed. So
That's
I now
very
have,
nice, Dave.
Yeah, so my stainless steel Ruger now has a what the hell is this? It's a tactical rimfire 2x7x32, and it's all nice and clicky and tactical, and
it's
really
a Nikon.
fancy.
Looks like you could
Nikon.
get it. Looks like you could get it down like another 1/4 of an inch, unless it's going to hit at the back there.
Oh, it's the ring is like half a millimeter away from touching.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
always the
close.
issue I have with the 1022. So I want to mount the scope a little bit further forward, but then you can't get it low because that belt is in the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dave, is that a M22 or a P22?
The model is a BDC 150.
Does the turret have like 25, 75, 50, 100 on it?
Well, it's got a bullet drop reticule in it. It's actually quarter MOA clicks.
Okay, because I have
It's got
All right, I've got almost the identical scope, but my turret is like you zeroed at 50, and then you can turn it 75, 100, whatever.
Yeah, I don't like those because I'm planning on going out to 300 to 500 with this thing.
Don't really work anyway.
No, they don't.
It
So
only works with one weight at one speed.
exactly. The reason I got this one, it's got the bullet drop reticule inside it, which I also hate, but it's a nice clean crosshair. And the other version they have has a really, really busy crosshair with all sorts of stadia lines and all sorts of BS in there that I hate. I just like a nice clean crosshair.
You could always find out what those drops are for your rifle and your ammo combo, and maybe use them if you know what they are.
Well, that's my plan. Like it is clickable and it's got lots of range in there. So I'm going to do that, but I am going to use the BDC once I figure them out, just for quick shots. If I'm doing like a 25 and then a 150 or something on a fairly large target, why not? I'll hit the target. That's all I care about. So I got that, and then I got these. I wanted to get a 20 MOA rail for it because I'm going to be doing long range stuff. And then I was talking with Mike over at Elwood Epps, and he suggested that I try out these Burris, what the hell are they called? Signature Z rings.
Yep.
So they've got the little insert in them, and you can get different inserts. So you can put a plus 20 on the back and a minus 20 on the front, and get like crazy elevations out of the thing. So I didn't know it only came with 0 inserts. You got to buy the other inserts.
No,
separately.
they should. Which one is that? They should come with a 0 and then a 10, so you can get a plus 10 and minus. How many inserts are in there?
2.
And they're in the rings, and they didn't come with any extra.
Nope, nothing in the rings.
Boo earns.
Yeah, now that is interesting you mentioned that, because now that I think about it, I think it said it came with 4, but it didn't. It came with 2.
Nothing else in the package. Oh well.
No.
Yeah, I've got some signature Z rings, and I use them for the same thing. You jack up the back and put down the front, and you get some extra elevation out of it.
Yeah, works pretty good, or
yeah, works great. And the closer in your rings are, the more extreme that actually is. So if they're further out, it's less, and if they're closer in, it'll end up being more.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think it's kind of a cool solution without having to pay all sorts of money for a new rail, because the rings were $50.
And they won't mark your scope. So if you swap scopes in and out, they'd look great.
Yeah, I thought that was nice. That was mentioned in there. That's a nice point.
The cheap option on that one too, nicely. because it's a rail, the cheap option is to just put some garbage underneath the back and then screw it down on top of it. Yeah, you can shim it up with like some aluminum pop cans or something like that, and that'll get you some extra range.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I ordered a rail as well because I didn't really realize that my 1022 had a rail. It's been in my safe for a long time, so I thought it just had the slots for the crappy old scope rail, but it's actually a Weaver / Picatinny type rail on the top of it. So I now have a spare rail off to return to apps. Oh well. But I'm excited. I'm going to try this for some
Excuse
of our.
me, Dave.
Yeah.
What kind of rail?
Weaver rail.
It's a Weaver rail. So how is it different from the factory rail that comes with the 1022?
It isn't.
Very good. Carry on.
Yeah, I just didn't realize I had a rail on it. So
how much elevation is possible in that scope? Do you know what the max is?
I don't.
Because the other thing you could do is you could get some cant in your rail and in the rings, and go like way out there.
Yeah, as long as I can get out to 3, I'm good, because that's the furthest I'm probably going to shoot it. But I might try a little further. We'll see. Maybe try some 500 yard and see.
500 is hard to do. That's where you need to combine a couple of different things to make it happen.
Yes,
it's a lot of elevation.
Yeah.
Are you shooting high velocity?
I'm shooting Remington Golden Bucket.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I don't even know what that is.
High velocity.
Garbage. That's what it is.
Yeah. You know what? It works okay in this gun. I don't know. I shot maple seed with it, and I was shooting 200 yards, and I was hitting a figure 11.
Nikon does not list a. That's a P Tactical. That's the version you've got there. They do not list the max elevation in their tech specs for this thing.
Well, I'll spin her up and see what it does. Yeah. I was surprised, actually. My crappy little Tasco, I brought it up 140 clicks, I think, to get myself on around 300 yards, and it had the elevation.
Very good. Wow.
it worked. I don't
Was that Tasco one of those fixed 4s?
know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the low magnification scopes have like a crazy amount, like your 1.5s or 1 to 4s and that kind of thing. A lot of
Yeah.
those have like 130 MOA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it worked, but it is time to say goodbye to the scope that I've had in my junk bin for like 30 years and get something decent. So this scope was normally I think they're normally 260 or 270. They had them on sale for 160.
Oh, that's good. That's really
So
generous.
whatever, right? I kind of wanted, like I said, I wanted to get something better. So we'll see. I'm going to take this out and shoot some 300-yard matches this year, and we'll see how she does, because everybody else is shooting 6.5s and 30-06s and 308s, and it's an expensive day, and I go out and shoot 100 rounds. It's like, man, whatever. It didn't cost me anything.
Yeah. The scope turrets, does it move up and down when you unscrew it or screw it? Does it have lines on there that witness how many rotations it's done?
It does.
Sweet.
And one thing I thought was really cool about this is when you want to zero it, you don't have to take when you zero it, you do your adjustments to zero it, and then you just pull the cap up and rotate the cap and then drop it. I've never seen that before. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's nice. Because then if you go out and, I don't know, there's like a consistent 2-mile breeze or something like that, you can just pop it over a little bit and call it a day.
Yeah, I thought that's a really nice scope. And I have a buddy who does long-range stuff, and all of his scopes, everything he owns on all his guns, his 22s, his ARs, his long-range stuff, all Nikon, and he swears by them for the price.
And yet they're going out of business.
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting out of the scope business.
Yeah, which is too bad, but I don't know if they're just not selling enough scopes, or I don't know what's going on there, but they are pretty awesome.
It's a pretty tight market, man.
Yeah.
Vortex.
Yep.
Think of like 10 years ago, no Vortex. Think about now, like they're eating those guys' lunches.
Vortex Nation.
Yeah.
I looked at their stuff, but it was a lot more money, so I went this way. And we'll see. What else did I do? My AR-15 upper build parts are all rolling in, so I got a bunch of stuff there off of Maple Ridge Armory in Barrie a couple weeks ago. So I got my IBI barrel in, my 18.5. So I'm going to build this as like a DM, designated marksman upper. Do 800-yard range, 800-yard matches with my AR.
What kind of bullet are you going to shoot?
I don't know, pointy one.
Yeah, 55 grain blaster, American Eagle.
55 grand, I think like 40.
It's lighter and it's faster, therefore it'll get it there quicker. It's more accurate.
Therefore, it's better.
That's
Probably 60, whatever they are, 68s, 69s.
Okay.
Whatever I can feed out of a magazine, because I got to mag feed the thing.
77s.
To do the class. Oh yeah, you can get them short enough in the.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get your OAA short enough. Huh?
Yeah.
That's what's in the RCMP patrol carbines.
Why? Why do they go for 77s?
Because they're shooting IVI jacketed hollow point. They're not.
Why don't they just shoot whatever 55 grain full metal jacket and just.
Because they want to let more light in.
Never know when you might need to do an 800-yard engagement.
What would you rather shoot somebody with at any distance? 55 grain full metal jacket or 77 grain jacketed hollow point?
55, because it's going faster.
Whatever, man. Big holes.
Yeah.
Well, the hole's probably the same size unless it tumbles.
They
Let more light in.
Those 55s tumble like crazy.
No, those 75s open up and make big wound channels.
Probably.
77s, rather.
Shoot them multiple times.
30 rounds, just keep
55 grains cheap. Just keep pulling the trigger.
I don't think they care about the price.
No.
It's your tax dollars.
We're paying,
Yeah, they do tend to shoot very nice ammo. I was looking at some of the OPP ammunition. I'm like, this is quite nice, actually. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on some parts from Trevinator there. Once I get my gas block, I'm going to put my upper together. So that's my first upper. So I'm all excited about that. What else did I do? Blah, blah. Looking for a Tavor. So if anybody happens to have a Tavor for sale, let me know. The petition's over 150,000 signatures. Yay. If you haven't signed it, go sign it. And I'm going to mock Kelly because she said McGlock last week. So I'm calling anyone anytime I see a Glock now, it's now Glock.
Is it in Glock or is it like Glock, like
I think
Milady?
it's Glock. Glock.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tips the fedora.
Glock.
Yeah, Glock. Glock.
Awesome.
And that is it.
Sweet. All right. Why don't we get on to the upcoming events? TACOM Canada is coming up September 11th to 13th. We'll be there. Check it out. They got some early birds tickets on sale. If you head on over to TACOMCanada.com, type in early bird 15 off, you'll get 15% off your TACOM ticket. 10th annual podcast charity shoot will be at Rescue Gun Club Saturday, July 4th, and we'll let you know when payments will be open for that. That one is... Oh no, this one's still on. The CCFR Policy Talk will be February 11th, 2019. I think this is in Toronto. And if you want to head on out to that, it's on Eventbrite. So search Eventbrite for Policy Talk, CCFR Policy Talk. Let's talk solutions, that kind of thing. You'll find it.
I'm gonna try and go down to that.
Very cool. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. We don't have that kind of stuff in not the center of the universe where the rest of us are at.
True. I've got an hour and a half drive down to the center of the universe, but I think I'll go.
That's just traffic. You're probably like 3 blocks away from downtown.
3 blocks.
Let's see here. Why don't we get onto the news? The first one here, Cheryl Gallant has challenged her fellow MPs to take a firearms training course. She presented an open letter early on this year. That was kind of interesting.
Good for Cheryl.
Yeah. Put a little bit of pressure on them. Stick it a little bit. You guys are supposed to know about this stuff that you're legislating and you don't know about.
Politicians don't tend to know anything about most of the things. It's remarkable when you hear them talking, and it's a lot of...
It's frightening is
what
what
are
it
you
is.
saying?
Yeah.
Like that whole Billy Madison thing. We are now dumber for having listened to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can kind of understand why that happens, because you can't be a specialist about everything, but you should have a basic idea of what in the hell you're talking about, and whether politically, is it just politics or does it actually make sense? And I think most of the time it's just politics, so they're just spewing the party line, whatever it is.
Or, well, I mean, when they're the dumbest, it's not spewing the party line, and it's them like riffing off of it and trying to like piece together some lore of what they think is real and some myths. Those are the most entertaining, I think. But
it's true. That does make for the best memes.
Shoulder that thing that goes up. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the ghost guns.
Ghost guns. Yeah.
30 clips per second.
30 clips per second. Fantastic. Have you guys seen
you guys
seen that Japanese machine gun that takes clips? It's clip fed.
I have, yeah. World War II one, right?
Oh yeah, it's got like this little magical hopper. You take like little 5-round clips and you just stick those in there, and it's got this spring-loaded thing that pushes them in. Oh, it's such a cool idea. I can't imagine it works like at all, but man, so cool looking.
Looking at a lot of their stuff from World War II, I'm shocked it worked. Just they had some crazy designs. Different mindset, I guess.
Yeah. I like the clip-fed one. That seems so clever, but yeah, easy to top off. This next one, kind of came as a surprise to me when I saw it pop up, but a couple of people have been trying to, including Tracy Wilson, have been trying to get Ducks Unlimited to share the petition to not have the Liberal Party use an OIC to ban a pile of guns. And Ducks Unlimited isn't going to share it. And the reason is they're not about hunting. Their focus is strictly on wetlands conservation, environmental and habitat, while some waterfowl hunters may benefit from the wetlands projects they do. It's not the focus of the organization. It's donors or its mandate. They're not a hunting organization. This is a surprise to me. I did not know about this. I know about like my grandpa's got like guns with Ducks Unlimited like engraved on the side, right. And I thought that they were conservation, but like also hunting.
Well, Ducks Unlimited was founded by duck hunters who wanted to protect wetlands, so they would always have a place to hunt ducks. No wetlands, no ducks, no duck hunting. Mm-hmm. They've since turned into environmental, leftist, safe space for ducks. I'm pissed because they take money from duck hunters all the time. They auction off their crappy prints in gun shops, at gun clubs, right? Mm-hmm. They rely on firearms owners to raise money for them all the time. So I told them that today. I called them out on their national Canadian Facebook page, the Atlantic Canadian Facebook page, and I sent them a PM. Would you like to hear the response?
Yes.
All right. They replied to me and said, firearms and hunting accessories are often used as part of Ducks Unlimited Canada fundraising activities as a way to celebrate and recognize the hunting and conservation lifestyle. The debate around firearms legislation, however, is a different thing. It involves decisions and expertise that falls outside of our standard mission of wetland conservation. We recognize the value of waterfowl hunters in the establishment and ongoing success of Ducks Unlimited. Kiss me arse anyway, because if you take away my semi-auto 12 gauge, I might not be able to hunt ducks.
Well, not as effectively, yeah. I was arguing with someone on Reddit. Wait, let me find this link. I've got a link for you guys. Where is the stupid thing? Long story short, the federal government is funding Ducks Unlimited $1 billion over some time period. So they don't need your money. Yeah.
Could be why they're not willing to.
Because they already got it. Because they got it through your tax money.
Yeah.
My rifle association has a policy that they don't get involved in politics as well. So we have, because they feel that they are a non-profit, so if they open their mouths, their non-profit status may get pulled. So
I think like in yesteryear, that was the way that people approached it. We don't get involved. This is politics. We let anyone from any political streams join our organization, and we don't want anyone to feel excluded. And I think that's okay. But there won't be an organization to protect, or there won't be an activity to protect. Like, how are we supposed to do rifle competitions if they eliminate all the rifles that we traditionally use for rifle competition? If we can't use an AR-15, if the Enfields get something, if we can't compete with M1 Garands, all this stuff that we historically competed with, like what's going to happen to these shooting sports? They're going to tank. Like waterfowl hunting by itself is not doing tremendously good right now. And like after seeing this note, like they're not a hunting organization, I was looking into it. Yeah, I mean, like they still do a couple of hunting things. They still do like promote waterfowl hunting, but not a lot. And it's not like it's definitely not in their mission statement. Which I think if the hunters knew, they probably wouldn't be donating like they are right now. They probably assume that when they donate to Ducks Unlimited, it's for conservation primarily, but also to encourage the next generation of youth duck hunters, waterfowl hunters. Yeah,
because they do offer educational programs, and it's not just about conservation.
Mostly conservation, though. 80% of their funding goes towards conservation. Anyways, so the long story short, if you want more youth hunters, and if you want waterfowl hunting to continue, Delta, geez, it's Delta something, Delta waterfowl, Delta duck hunting. I don't know, Delta. That's what they do, is purely focus on encouraging youth to get into waterfowling, and that's what you need to do. You need to get youth into it because they will. They're supposed to be the next generation coming up.
Yeah, same with all of our stuff.
Whatever
you do, get kids doing it.
Yeah. I mean, Ducks doesn't need your money anymore. They've got a crap ton of your money already through tax money. So, fund another organization. They'll be good to go for a while, at least in conserving and keeping those wetlands projects going. More good news? How about more good news? Airbnb is donating $300,000 to the Docks for Protection from Guns over the next 3 years. So, Airbnb had a shooting in one of their Toronto rental units, which I guess is a thing, right? Like a bunch of young people will not trash their own place. They will rent an Airbnb and they'll have a party there. And some of these parties get a little bit crazy, and sometimes they fight and stab and shoot each other. And such a thing happened in Toronto. And the response of an American company was to fly down a VP and fund an anti-gun organization in Canada. That was their approach to that.
Yeah, nice response, guys. Thanks for not doing anything useful.
But the funny thing is that now, like there's been a couple of times where in hearings they've been trying to claim the CCFR is funded by foreign interests and corporate evil enterprises and that kind of thing.
Prove it or shut up or I'll sue you.
But now the Docs for Protection from Guns are the ones who are funded by foreign corporate interests.
Exactly.
They're now a well-funded American-style lobby group.
Yeah.
But that's
With
okay.
no exaggeration. That is 100% fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
The irony is not lost on us, as Tracy would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Crazy.
I mean, that's always been the case. You know, you if you track the money back, who's funding some of these groups? Not our side, because whatever, we're all grassroots funded for the most part. But I mean, a lot of their stuff is government grants or foreign stuff coming in. But nobody seems to care. Like, it isn't like oh well, whatever.
It's because the means only matter when it's the opponent. And it doesn't. The means don't matter when it's you that are using the means to your
That's
end.
okay. That's right. I can use it, but you can't.
Yeah, it's okay that they're foreign funded because it's a good mission and the end result is good.
Yeah.
Always justifies the means.
Yep. All right, let's move on to something
terrible
else. Canada is adopting red flag laws. Did you guys know that we're finally getting these?
No,
Finally.
they were introduced in like the mid '80s. But,
Oh, yeah.
You know, hey, what
Apparently
do I know?
not.
Bill
Apparently
Barrett
not.
knows.
Yeah. So Canada's adopting red flag laws. Now that I don't know if you guys looked into like what's involved with this, but this is a real weird thing. So right now, anyone can call the CFO up and be like, "Yo, I got a safety concern about this," and give some details, and the CFO will, I don't know, think about it, investigate, send a local police officer out if it's something serious. That local police officer can, with a warrant, search your house and seize your guns if they feel necessary. Without a warrant, search your house and seize your guns. But that's a little bit more risky.
Public safety search.
Correct. Yep. There's actually there's a couple of them. If they think that you're a risk to yourself or someone else,
They don't need a warrant.
They don't need a warrant. They can just take it. That's reasonable. They can just do it. This new one, instead, what you can do is a police officer or educator or your dog walker or anyone, it seems, can petition a judge to have your firearms seized, and the judge will make a ruling on it, and then they'll do something. I don't know. Tell the cop.
Well, do you remember the Jesse Sansoni case in Ontario?
No.
Which one was that?
That was the one where the kindergartner drew a picture of her daddy with his gun that he uses to shoot monsters or bad guys or something. The teacher brought it to the principal. The principal called the social worker. The social worker called the police. The police arrested him at the school when he went to pick up his daughter. This all happened the same day. Took him into the police station and had him strip searched and searched his home, all 9 yards. I don't even think there was a firearm in the home.
No, he didn't own guns. I remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet you they didn't find any monsters under the bed either. I wonder if they checked for those just in case.
Probably
Right?
not. Wasn't on the warrant.
Yeah. Yeah. And stuff like that. Like I can, cool. Somebody calls in, potential gun threat. Good. Check it out. But don't do this huge overreaction. I mean, I'm at the school. I'm not running at you guns blazing. Like, chill out, man. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
exactly.
So that's the status of where our red flags are today, which basically we have them. We have red flag laws, and you can call the cops, and the cops will do their thing. This other method of Drummond was from the Guns for Protection from Docs or whatever.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he was quoted in these articles, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, well this is going to be a faster way to seize guns from people," and I just can't see that. Petitioning a court with multiple witnesses trying to make a case that someone doesn't deserve their guns anymore, and that's going to be faster than a cop going out there and doing an investigation. Can't be.
Kalen Langman responded to that. Did you guys see his response?
I did not.
Oh, it was freaking awesome. He basically said, I'm a doctor. I've done this before. I call the cops, and the cops go out and seize the guns. Ta-da! We already have this on the law. Piss off. Love that guy.
Well, we already have it on the law, and now we're going to add we have a problem with police resources. We have a problem with resources.
Apparently not.
We have a problem with court resources. Many people go way too long waiting for a court case. So what's the solution to the cops potentially not doing their job and showing up to someone's house and seizing their firearms, or at least investigating? Let's add a court case on top. This is more inefficient. This doesn't help anything.
And I don't imagine that this will ever really be used, because frankly, if somebody is an imminent threat to themselves, are you really going to screw around for that long? I mean, would you not just call the cops? The cops go, okay, we'll go check it out.
And they have the power necessary to do what they need to do. Yes. Yeah.
It's just to look good. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Look what we're doing. The red flag thing's a big thing in the U.S. newspaper right now. So
No, we need that. Yeah. We already have it. Make another one. Put another one on top. Let's make another red flag.
Here we're doing something.
Yeah. Okay, the next one's cool. I don't know. I didn't see any pictures of them yet, and they got pictures now. Delask Arms, they actually sold out their first run of them, but they're making a GSG 16 that is non-restricted and has a very short barrel on it. And the way that they're able to do this is the OAL is still legal. So they're pinning the stocks to all the way open, and you can run a shorter barrel on them. So they look cool. 9-inch.
9-inch barrel as opposed to 16?
Very cool. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Neat.
It looks better. Like with the short barrel and the full-length stock, it does look better.
Yeah.
Apparently they also have some MP5 stocks, I heard. So they might be able to, that's the standard GSG 16 stock on there. I think they have some MP5 stocks that they can use on there.
Yeah, they look pretty badass with the MP5 kit on them. What's the names? Maple Ridge had one, and they have the MP5 kits for it. And I'm like, that's pretty badass. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah,
I'm tempted. I may buy one. We'll see.
Trevor, I see you adding some precious new line items on the list there.
Well, I mean, I don't know, Canada adopting red gun flags should have went under news, not gun stuff. It's not really when I think of new gun stuff segment, I think of products that we're gonna critique. But since we're,
I add stuff to our links at 2 a.m.
I'm just saying, if we can talk about that and our new gun stuff, then we can talk about gun industry gossip and drama. I don't know how many of the listeners are following the Jade's Truck versus Terran Tactical on Instagram. A little bit of background. Terran Tactical is a firearms instructor and trainer to the stars. He trains Keanu Reeves whenever he's doing movies. So he's got this really cool range, and people go to train with him. And I actually know an IPSC shooter who I see at large matches in Canada. She went there to get some training with him and his employees, basically. And I don't want to. I will use the term gun bunny, whether it applies to these females or not. I don't know. They're scantily clad, shooting guns, but they're not just models holding a gun that don't have a clue. So they're more than gun bunnies. Some of them are very good at shooting and very good at shooting competitions. One in particular was a lady by the name of Jade's Truck. Well, Jade's Truck just hashtag MeToo'd Terran. There was this happened right before SHOT Show. A creepy video dropped of Terran asking to see the edge of the precious. The memes that ensued were hilarious. Anyway, Terran's talking to her, and he's trying to talk her into dropping her pants. And she pulls her on video. Yeah, he's pointing his phone at her, and come on, let's see the precious. Let's see the precious. It's creepy as all get out, because Terran is a man who's got to be in his late 40s, and Jade is her
employer,
and she was 18. So this happened. The video dropped. So all of her ties with Terran seemed to be cut right before SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
So if you follow them on Instagram, you notice all of a sudden that Jade's truck is not associated with Terran Tactical anymore. Then the video is, I don't know, we'll call it leaked, and it goes pretty much viral in our community, and Terran is called a creepy old man and everything else. Terran finally gets around to putting out what would be basically a press release, private video, staged, scripted, yada, yada, yada. Okay? That was his take on it. Well, she released a released a statement on her Instagram today. About 2 weeks ago, a video was published showing me in a very uncomfortable situation. I was clearly very uneasy when it happened, and I'm extremely embarrassed at how I reacted to the situation. My former employer took this video several years ago. Well, she's only like 21 now, so it wasn't anyway. When I just turned 18 and was very new to the industry. I was very young and naive and was led to believe that this sort of thing was normal, expected, and required to succeed in this industry.
Sounds like a lot of other things, doesn't it?
It does.
Story.
Yeah. So greasy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yep. So if you're
Wow.
following the Terran Tactical versus Jade Truck drama on Instagram, that statement just dropped today, so you might want to go over and check that out if you're following the drama.
Yeah.
And if you're Googling it, her first name is Jade and her last name is Struck. The show notes say Jade's Truck. So I'm Googling it and I'm like, what the hell is
I Googled
Trevor
it and it came
about?
up just fine.
Oh, that's how I pronounce it, so that's how I wrote it. Jade's apostrophe S Truck.
Freaking apostrophe.
Yeah.
Damn newfies.
Yeah,
Cool.
exactly.
All right, why don't we get on to the main topic? And for our main topic, we're going to talk about gunsmithing tools, because I think a listener wrote in like a week or 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know when they really wrote in, but they wrote in, and they're like, yo, what kind of gunsmithing tools should I get? Because I want to do that kind of thing. So, so we wanted to wait until Trevor got on, because he had more of them. But why don't we start with modification? What do you want to do? Do you want to add categories?
Dremel tool,
we'll get into
a Dremel tool.
We'll get into that list, but there's definitely gunsmithing tools that are essentially machine shop tools. If you're a gunsmith, you also need to have machinist skills, because being a gunsmith is often more than simply replacing a broken part. If you're a true gunsmith, you will fabricate parts, you will modify parts, you will machine parts on your mill or on your lathe to make them fit. You'll even construct or build parts once in a while. You'll build a pin because you can't find one. You'll turn a screw into a plug. You'll do all of that. So that's a whole other kettle of fish. And then if you're going, like, Denny will build a custom rifle. He will take a barrel blank. He will chamber it. He will put it on whatever action you want using his lathe and his mill. So that's like a whole other kettle of fish.
There's like levels to this thing.
Yeah. And that is, and then you go to the Calgary Shooting Center and they have a stock replicator. I mean, when I hear replicator, I think Star Trek, right? Like, give me a sundae, and a strawberry sundae comes out. They'll take your cracked stock, your broken stock, you'll put it in this side of the machine, and they'll have a chunk of wood on this side. Next thing you know, you've got a stock fabricated out of the most beautiful piece of wood that you could, get your hands on.
Sounds like a key cutter at
kind of, dude.
Yeah.
But it's the stock replicator. It's the coolest thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. But if you are at home and you want to work on your own firearms, repair, replace, assemble, disassemble, there's definitely some stuff that you need.
Dremel. Get a Dremel.
Dremel does not make you a gunsmith, even though Adriel would like.
You can do some gunsmith stuff with a Dremel.
Yeah,
you can.
Trigger job.
Yeah. So I actually left the Dremel downstairs for this. So one of the first things you should have, I'll go through the tools I have, Adriel, just to get this part out of the way, and then we can jump into the categories. How's that? I may touch on them as we go.
You know what? Yeah, why don't we just do it per person? So like we've got some categories here. Why don't you tell us what you've got? Dave can tell us what he's got, and I'll go into my stuff.
I actually have my tools with me. I brought my tools to show. So you want me to go first, or what?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So one of the first things I recommend everyone get is a gun vise. So I'm holding up my Tipton gun vise here. The gun vise is an essential tool for cleaning and maintaining and mounting scopes. They come in a couple of different configurations. This one is the most basic one. You put your stock in the back here. It's all coated in rubber so you don't scratch anything. It's got a clamp to hold the stock in place. It's got a support in the middle, and then it has a groove in the front where either the barrel or the front of the stock will set. Down in the bottom are all these little compartments for screws. There's actually one, these ones here fit ballastol cans or Hoppy's bottles perfectly. So tools can fit into one compartment, and then screws and whatnot, cleaning patches, cleaning solvents in the other compartments. So that was one of the very first things I bought. When I bought my first rifle, I bought my carbon fiber one-piece Tipton cleaning rod, and I bought a guide that goes into the receiver. You take the bolt out, and then you put the cleaning rod in. There's a slot for your patch, and it keeps all the dirt out of the action. And I was doing that on my lap in the living room.
You don't use a solvent catch?
Solvent
he gets
trap.
them off Wish.
Yeah.
Adriel hook, yeah.
I do not own any solvent traps. So, so I bought this, and this sits on top of your workbench, and it's fantastic. The next two things I think are absolutely invaluable, and they are, especially if you're getting into ARs, these are roll pin punches. This set right here is from Wheeler Engineering. You can get it on Amazon or Brownell sells a lot of good-ish, right? They're practical, but they're not the toughest things in the world. Anyway, these are roll pin starter punches, and often you can mar the hole and mess up the hole or damage the pin trying to start it. Well, if you look at the end of this pin, it has a hole in it. The hole is designed to hold the roll pin. You put the roll pin in the punch, you put it into the hole, you give it a couple of quick taps, and it starts the roll pin for you and ensures that it starts straight and doesn't damage the pin. Then you switch to these pins, and these are roll pin punches, and they actually have a little nipple on the tip of the punch. And what that does is that goes inside the rolled steel, the little hole there, the little divot, and that makes sure that the punch doesn't get, or the pin rather, doesn't get smashed or mushed or opened up. So these two sets of punches I find are invaluable and make your life so much easier starting punches and finishing them. The next couple of things I have, I'll save those for last. This is a wonderful kit. This is the Wheeler Engineering 89-piece gunsmithing screwdriver set. It has a screwdriver bit location guide, which is a sticker that you put in the top so you can always know where the bits go. It also comes with an instruction manual that tells you what some of the more unique looking bits are for. There are some specific bits meant to work on specific firearms. There's a Ruger scope ring clamp bit. There's a Ruger Colt single action base pin latch. There's some punches. There's a Remington 870, 1100, and 1187 trigger plate punch. There's the Smith & Wesson rebound spring compression tool for when working on revolvers. So a couple of specific ones. You look at them and go, what are these for? Well, it tells you in the instructions what they're for.
So if you get any antiques, you're covered.
Right. Something like this would be for removing the, on a single shot shotgun, there's a plate there to access the firing pin. You would need, it's screwed into the receiver and there's two little holes. Well, you need a special tool to get that out. So that's what that would be.
The SKS has a cross bolt that needs something like that as well.
And two different. Because SKS.
Because it gets dirty if you run out and buy a new one.
Right. Two different length screwdrivers and a bunch of, and they're hollow ground, they call it, the bits. They're so you don't slip out of the screw.
They fit properly. If any of you guys have tried using a flathead screwdriver on a firearm, you'll find that a flathead screwdriver, they're kind of like a angled in.
Yep.
And you try to use it on a gun flathead screw and you strip it out and you're like, man, They just didn't know how to use screws back in the day. And the reality is, they didn't. Flathead screws are still completely stupid, but they made them using this technology, and that's why your modern screwdrivers don't work with them.
Exactly. This next kit that I have is the Wheeler, again from Wheeler Engineering, and it is a scope mounting kit. It has lapping bars. And for some of those rings that have windage built into them, you can line them up using the lapping bars.
Windage built into them. Like, that's a nice way of
crazy.
saying they've been machined poorly.
No,
and you have to polish them
well,
afterwards.
There are some rings that have windage. You can actually adjust the windage onto the scope ring itself, which seems ridiculous, but you can offset the back ring. So these two pieces of metal here, see how they're pointed? You put one in the back ring, one in the front ring, and then you make sure that the tips are lined up and your rings are straight.
Touch the tips.
Touch the tips, but only for a minute. And just the tip.
And then go buy a better scope mount and a better scope.
Yeah,
Well,
it's Loophole, man. Loophole
use-
makes some of these ridiculous things.
You can use that polishing bar to do a really like mirror finish polish on the inside of your rings. So if you want your inside of your rings to be like super fantastic, that's the ticket.
No, well,
So
okay.
if it's Saturday night and you're drunk and the lady's amorous, well, just maybe stand there.
So what you're supposed to do? I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, but what you're describing is wrong. You use this lapping bar and the lapping compound simply to remove the high spots on the ring. Okay, so you the instructions say something about you run the lapping bar back and forth until you take off about 20% of the finish, and you'll some of the finish will be gone and some of the finish will still be there. And by finish I mean like the anodizing of the ring itself, because most rings are aluminum and they're anodized. And what you've done is you've eliminated the high spot, and by eliminating the high spot you're getting more ring surface contact on the scope tube,
And
So
potentially
that's
you're
what-
removing some of the pressure points.
exactly right.
Now, do you have to lap your scope, or are we assuming the scope is perfect?
Yeah, you're assuming the scope is perfect.
Slap
right?
everything.
Probably not.
Lap the
but
scope, lap the rings, braze it or
And-
weld it on there. It's never going to come out.
And people I remember when I first got this kit, and they're like, well, why are you lapping $30 rings? Because of $30 rings, jackass, are the ones that need it. If I buy like my $200 Alberta tactical rings, yeah, don't lap those. Those are fine. My $200 Vortex rings, like it tells you right on the instructions, do not lap these. These are already precision. LaRue Tactical, just one and done. You know what I mean? The
Mhm.
more you pay, the less attention. So, Wheeler Engineering Fat Wrench. So this is a torque wrench in inch pounds. If you're going to do any scope mounting whatsoever, you need to get one of these, and you need to check the manufacturer's instructions for what they recommend you torque things to. People way over tighten their scope rings.
Yeah.
Talking 18 to 20 inch pounds is all you need, and people over tighten to the point where they actually crimp the body of the scope tube. It's ridiculous. The
And
stuff
then
that
the
we see.
erector doesn't work, and then when you adjust it, it doesn't work. And that's where you see people who adjust their scope and then tap on it.
Yep.
And you're like, why are they
To
doing
try and
that?
get-
Well, it's because it's cranked on there too tight and it doesn't want to work
Mhm.
properly.
That's right.
Now,
Also-
you don't just tighten them to like ugga-duggas, right? Like how hard you go on it. No? Use
What?
the wrench?
Yeah,
You don't
use the
just, like,
wrench. Yeah.
go until-
No,
No?
you don't go Mongo
You
tight.
feel the torque starting to twist.
Go
And it's
crumple.
like, whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's good enough.
A little
when
bit
you
of
feel-
twisting.
Yeah. Comes with a set of levels. These are pretty much garbage, though. I'm not gonna lie. These don't work very well. You got to get a separate leveling kit where you level the gun, and then you put a level on the barrel. You clamp it down, and you adjust it so that it matches the level on the receiver. And then you can take that one off, put the rings on, check it again on top of the rings. Actually, you put your rings on the receiver, and then put it across there. A couple of different ways to do it, but
I usually just put the rings on, drop the scope in, torque it all tight, and go shoot the gun.
yep. And that's why
Not right.
whatever makes you happy, buddy. You do you.
You know, one
You do
thing
you.
with
I love
with
you.
those
I'm
levels.
gonna bring my gun out. And you can
sometimes the top of the scope ring isn't flat. Sometimes they've got like a little Allen key or something in there, so that could prevent you from using those top of the scope bubble levels
rings.
kind of
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
The other cool thing that this is for, there's a well-known trick out there for the 1022. The 1022 receiver is held into the stock with one screw. The torque specification on that screw, or not torque specification, but the amount of torque on that screw will affect your group. You go to the range with this tool and your 1022, and you start at 10 inch pounds, and you go up 1 pound at a time, shooting 5-shot groups, and the group will close and open and close again, and you'll find the sweet spot. It's like this 1022 shoots best at 13 inch pounds. This 1022 shoots best at 11. This 1022 shoots best at 15. You're welcome.
Interesting. I just put mine in and just went, and I'm gonna go shoot it.
I had a Savage 64 that from the factory wasn't torqued down enough on the action screws, and it shot horribly. Yeah, once torqued, it was still horrible, but better than before.
It went from horrible to just horrific.
Yeah.
And then this is I love this. This is a trigger scale, so it's nice to have too. So if you're doing some trigger work, which unless you're a gunsmith, you shouldn't be doing because you make your gun full auto and shoot yourself in the face. So, but if you're just curious, you just want to know, digital trigger scale is nice.
Well, there's some
good to know if
trigger
you're doing competitions too, because a lot of competitions, you're 1 pound too light, no gun.
and there are components that non-gunsmiths can put in. There
Yes,
are
absolutely.
you could go pick up an AR trigger pack and just want to know what it is and then adjust it, right?
Yeah.
So I think the trigger weight scales are fantastic.
Yes, and if you're talking about an adjustment screw that came from the factory, hell yeah, have at her, because it's still going to go within safe parameters. But you shouldn't be in there with a file and some stones and stuff.
Use the Dremel.
Right, the Dremel.
Yeah,
These next two tools are specific. By the way, that's my favorite beer, Dave. Like one of my favorite beers. When we were in Poland for the World Cup, that's all we drank was Tyskie. We drank a lot of Tyskie.
My wife insisted on organic beer for Christmas for a party we were having, so I went and gimme organic beer, and they put this in a case, and I came home with it. But I don't drink beer, but it's actually pretty good.
Very good, yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's from Poland, but that's where I discovered it. All right, this next tool is an AR-15 armorer's wrench. If you don't know what this is, we can't be friends. That goes around Facebook and Instagram all the time. So if you own an AR-15, this is a must. One of the most useful parts of this tool is this part at the end, and this is for tightening the castle nut. So if ever you need to change your buffer tube, this is a very specific tool. So you either own one or you borrow one from one of the guys in the club. But they're not all created equal, but you can buy these for $15 on eBay or Amazon.
That style you can, yeah.
Be crap, yeah. So
I've got the just while we're talking about those, I've got the Wheeler Engineering one.
Yeah.
And no difference between this one and that one in terms of use. I find
that one
no difference. This one's got rather than the multi grip thing that's really good for the standard nut, it's just got these posts that you use.
Yeah, for the castle nut.
Which is enough. It's enough.
That one,
it's not fantastic.
But you know what's great about that one? So you see this groove here, you've got that groove. This groove here, you got that groove. But you see this hole right here? That's for the torque wrench.
Yeah.
And it's off center. Yours is centered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel better about that. So this other set here is specific. Real Avid. That's the brand name of these toolkits. And they make a bunch of different ones for different types of guns. There you go, buddy. That's
bought it 2 weeks ago. It's awesome.
Same one. It's the Hammer and AR-15 pin punch. Yep.
Yeah, freaking awesome.
I bought it mostly for the hammer, man, because it's got a nice little hammer with different ends. You've got a hard plastic, a rubber, a brass, and a steel. So depending on what you got to punch on or hammer on, you're not going to mar stuff up. And it has AR-15 specific punches. It has the cutaway punch that you need to install your bolt stop pin. It can be installed without this punch, but it's much easier with this punch. So, and there's even, I built several AR-15s. There's a punch in here. I have no idea what it's for. Maybe you guys can tell me. What is this thing for? It looks like it's for starting something. I'm not sure. It's got like a bullet tip on it.
You were telling me about that one, Adriel. Weren't you? You can just wail on that thing and get a pin started.
Oh, well, that would be if it's a pin start punch, but I don't see anywhere. How sharp is the tip on it?
Not very.
Yeah.
Not very.
Well, you wouldn't use that for crimping over the castle nut so that it's staked in place.
No, it's
not
definitely you
staking.
cannot. No. It's
Hmm.
not sharp enough.
Hmm.
But back to these two, they look the same, right? And they're the punch that's only halfway there. Half the body has been ground away, and that's so that it can go around the receiver to start the takedown pin punch or pin. But the tips, they're magnetic too. I didn't realize that the ends are magnetic. That's cool. One of these is hollow. So you can put the pin in and it will stay held in the punch itself while you get it started. Then after you get it started, then you have a roll pin punch that has the rounded tip to make sure you don't mar or crush your pin.
Is the hollow part magnetic? Because if it held the roll pin in there, that would be freaking magic.
No, it seems like just the end there.
That seems like a missed opportunity. Having the inside of that thing be magnetic would be like it would hold a roll pin in there. Yeah. Super magic.
Yeah. So these toolkits are available at DC Armory. Just saying, shameless plug. I know that because that's where I got mine. So
got mine at Elwood Epps because I'm not near DC Armory, unfortunately.
There you go. So punches, man. Get good punches and get roll pin punches and get roll pin starter punches.
I bought a set from Wheeler.
Mm-hmm.
This was my
shop too.
Very, very basic starter punch set.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of crappy and the case is really hard to open and I hate them so much.
Well, they're specific for they're brass, right?
Yeah.
And the listeners don't realize that. You just held up and said I got punches, but they're brass punches, so they're kind of limited to what you can. They have a purpose, and it's not a general all purpose. They're mainly stuff things.
Mainly, I hate the case because the case is impossible to get open without tools, and I broke a few of them. So then I bought this, and this is just wonderful, and it really wasn't any more expensive.
No. What is the sticker still on that? What was that? That was under $30, wasn't it?
This one was $57.
Oh. I'm not saying you overpaid, but you overpaid.
That's Elwood Epps, man. Whatever.
All right.
Pin punches, eh?
Yeah, man.
Pin punches. I've gotten away with it.
Right.
I don't have any special I just use roll pin punches. I don't have the starter or anything like that.
Yeah, but you literally tune a 3-gun shotgun with a hatchet.
Grinder and a dremel.
Grinder. My bad.
I've been told since that a belt sander is actually a real clean way of doing that because you get that angle in there and it's just perfectly straight and smooth.
That's for tattoo
I
removal.
hate you so much.
I wanted to show a couple of mine here real quick. I've got trigger gauge just like Trevor has. A couple of small things you might not think about. Head on to Princess Auto and get some dental picks. Because some parts, trying to get them in a weird spot, oh man, it's clutch, super clutch, and without them, it's impossible to do a lot of this stuff. Another one, I mentioned the Dremel. It's my favorite gunsmithing tool, but one of these little nail files that has a whole bunch of different surfaces on it. These are really good for polishing up parts. So if you're going to do the 2-cent Glock tune-up on the trigger, which is not changing any of the surfaces, it's just polishing a lot of it. This is fantastic because it's got step 4, step 5. So these are really just different grits that you can use on a nail file.
You're not wrong. That is the absolute perfect tool for cleaning up a factory Glock trigger. Because what you're doing when you're polishing the Glock trigger, you pick up a Glock that's brand new and you pick up a Glock that's got 10,000 rounds on it, and a Glock with 10,000 rounds feels fantastic. Because the parts have naturally become polished over time. When we start polishing trigger parts, what we're doing is we're essentially speeding up the wearing in process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that emery board there, like you said, has graduated grits.
And lots of them. And they're some of the gritty ones. I would never even start with that. I'd start with some of the smoother ones. But it's soft. It's very easy to file away at something using this, and they're super cheap. And then I don't know if you mentioned a clamp or a way to like affix your AR upper, but if you're going to change out your barrels in your AR upper,
Yeah,
a
I got
clamp
those.
or
I
a
just
reaction rod or something like that.
Well, it's really important to use that because an AR-15 upper is actually a bit delicate. You're not going to just clamp that in a vise and start torquing a barrel nut to 80 inch-pounds, or is it even foot-pounds? Foot-pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your AR-15 upper, if you're going to get the proper amount of torque onto the barrel nut, needs to be in a upper clamp, and then that provides support to the upper, and then you put that into a vise.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have to get one.
Yeah, I mean they've got the rod style that kind of goes in the back of the upper and engages with the lugs. There's the mag pull bev block. That one's actually I like that one. It's very compact, but it doesn't solidly hold the upper all on its own.
Right.
Whereas this guy, you clamp that on your upper, you put that in your vise, not going anywhere, and then you can work on your gun, and it's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like these little grooves there, so you put it into the vise, clamp it in there, and
straight and level. Yep.
Yep.
I also have the one, Adriel, that it's a block that goes into the vise and it fits into your mag well and locks in onto your magazine release.
I've got one of those too, and I never use the stupid thing. I don't know if it's I don't actually know what use or which operation I would use that more.
Castle nut.
I just put it on the floor.
Step on its throat.
I just put it on the carpet and just good.
Yeah, that's how I did mine too, Adriel.
Hey, no kidding. That's how I did my first one. But
I bought one of the lower holders for cleaning the gun because I don't have room in my room really to put guns out. So I put a vise on my bench, hook and screw. This actually, it's the wheeler. It attaches to that gun vise you've got, Trevor. But I put a block on it so I can just clamp it in my vise and then sit my gun in it. And I've got a little device that holds my lower and upper apart so I can just clean the gun.
I've got the same one. If you leave the bolts a little bit loose, you can actually twist it off the block. So twist it on or twist it off the block. So it's like a quick way of getting it on or off. I've got a table right here. This little like crappy TV table is set up for that, so I can just twist it on. I never use it. I always just use the carpet. Just because I have the tools doesn't mean I'm going to use them.
Right.
I think I'm just trying to think of anything else that I do on guns that's like that I would recommend a tool for. Yeah, I don't think. I think that's about it. Without getting too specific on a particular operation, I don't think there's much more that I would recommend. A good hammer, like if you don't have one of those hammers like you had there, Trevor, a good hammer with rubber on one side and plastic on the other, so nice. Because if you have problems getting a pin out or something like that, you can whack at a receiver with that. It's not going to damage it. It's not going to do any marks on it or anything like that.
Yeah, I built my first AR with a claw hammer, and I don't recommend doing that.
You can do it. You just need to prep everything. You need like all around the area you're going to be hitting. Yeah, you just need to tape the crap out of it because you will have that thing skip off the pin if it's not the correct one, right?
Oh yeah, I got a few. Well, you can't see it, but I've got a pretty good ding right there from the hammer slipping. Going, oops! When I put the pin in, the pin went in, but oh well, it's a competition rifle. But I was kind of mad at myself.
You're mad at yourself until you like dump it in the ground or like shoot on a gravel range and there's like rocks flying everywhere and you're marking it up anyways, right?
Yeah, but still, I'd rather it was all nice and pretty when I'm assembling it. So at least it's done right. If I was doing it, and if I was doing it for somebody else, then yeah, I'd need to be perfect, and then they can go bugger it up on their own.
Indeed. All right, you guys want to move on?
Yeah, man.
All right, let's go. Listener feedback on the Facebook. I haven't really been paying attention. How do you guys?
Dave and I have been answering as we go. It's been some pretty good stuff. Kelly stopped by to say hi.
Oh, I got some pin punches with my Dawson sights. One of them was a nylon tip, and the other one was aluminum, pure aluminum. I love those things. I use those on everything. They're these just short little guys, and they're so handy.
And every time you buy a front sight, you get a new one. They're stepped and everything sometimes. I never got the nylon one, but that stepped aluminum one, fantastic.
Yeah, and perfect for that thing. Because if you try using the wrong thing for putting in a sight, that's not a great time. No reaction rods. Well, I mean, you can use them. I don't have one. The reason why I don't have a reaction, I think I got that Wheeler kit with the clamp and all that other kind of stuff for like $50-$60, like the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure reaction rods are right around there, that price anyways, right? Pin punches with drill bits.
Yeah, I've heard of people doing that because drill bits are super, super hard, so they make a good punch, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, like,
or you can just buy a punch.
Buy a good punch, like, because crappy punches like bend and like they're like wet noodles.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Oh, one other thing you should have in your kit is a couple Band-Aids for when your punches break and take a chunk out of your hand, or your grinder slips when you're improving the feeding on your shotgun.
Shotgun, yeah.
Yeah, Band-Aids are good, and glasses to wear so springs and stuff don't catch you in the face.
Thanks,
compressed
Mom.
air. Compressed air, super handy.
Oh, yeah. I used to keep cans of compressed air for like cleaning computer keyboards and stuff. And then I just found a compressor on Kijiji for like $30.
Yeah. That's what I did. I used to use them, and then I discovered it's $10 for a can of compressed air, $50 for a compressor, and ta-da! I can inflate my car tires too. It's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think we got the Facebook all covered there. Listener feedback. Listener feedback is sponsored by Armory DC Gunsmith. Armory DC Gunsmith is a full-service gunsmith who specializes in firearms refinishing. He offers hot bluing, parkerizing, and Cerakote finishes, as well as wood refinishing. Check out his online inventory of new and used guns, firearms accessories, optics, and more at dcgunsmith.ca. And maybe ask him about this Real Avid AR-15 kit that Trevor's got, because
we ship.
That looks cool. Yeah,
I know there's one in stock for sure.
One left after you got through.
We also have a ballistol order in. If people are having a hard time finding ballistol, we have ballistol and we ship that too.
Fantastic. Dave, do you want to take this first one from Barry?
Sure, from Barry McKay. Hi guys, I am still interested in purchasing a trigger trainer and would like to get the one you fine folks are occasionally referring to. Where can I purchase it so I can be trigger happy at home? I love every word that comes out of your mouth, Trevor. Yeah, long live Colonel Cooey. Email the show at slamfireradio@gmail.com and Kelly will send you some.
Yeah, man.
Or just get a ballpoint pen.
Yeah, steal them from work. If you work at a place that uses pens, it's all just they're free. Help yourself. All you could ever want.
Yeah, make sure you get some Post-it notes too. Those I don't know what they help with, but they help.
You
can use them to make Space Invaders on your walls.
I think Trevor's just advocating for stealing from work. That's all we're doing here.
Seems to be the thing. Yeah.
Trevor, do you want to take this one from Mark H?
Sure. This doesn't affect me at all, since I'm not in the industry, but it might affect our Canadian neighbors, making things less expensive and easier for you ordering parts and accessories from U.S. distributors. With ITAR going away on those small items, so does the massive amount of required paperwork. Not just that, $2,500 a year companies had to pay for the privilege of shipping stuff out of the U.S.
Yep. A lot of them just didn't bother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right? For the little bit of, if you're a startup or whatever. So, in a document labeled only for state internal use reviewed by NBC News, the U.S. Department of State is finally set up to make regulatory changes to the International Traffic of Arms Regulations, ITAR, for small arms. The ITAR changes will ease the burden on the firearms industry by placing some common small arms, like semi-automatic rifles, under the control of the Department of Commerce Export Administration Regulation, EAR, instead of the State Department of U.S. Munitions List, USML. Current regulations require firearm manufacturers to pay a minimum of $2,240 per year in ITAR fees, even if they have no intention to export weapons outside the United States. Under the proposed changes, fully automatic firearms and other weapons controlled by the National Firearms Act, NFA, will remain under the USML. For smaller manufacturers, Gunsmith, and other licensees, the regulatory changes mean that they will no longer be required to pay a minimum ITAR fee, which I think is awesome. That's the big one right there, right?
Mhm.
People that didn't want to bother before, now, there's an incentive to now. They don't have to pay into the club right off the bat. The rule apparently is only a few weeks away from being published in the Federal Register. More recent link on regulation change. This one shows implementation of the change in regulations within 30 days or so. So the link is gununiversity.com/firearms-moved-ITAR-commerce-CCL.
We can just summarize it. The summary is they say it's gonna go into effect this week. This was in mid-January, and then it's a 45-day period. So sometime towards the end of February, early March, we're going to see no ITAR relaxed. And I was actually talking to a retailer, and a Canadian retailer, and they thought this was fantastic because they're going to get a bunch of stock for a bunch of weird stuff that is like little cottage industry kind of stuff in the U.S. They're going to get that here in Canada, and they're going to start offering on their shelves. So fantastic.
Well, a lot of the things that were covered by ITAR are just ridiculous too. Like,
Trevor, other Trevor can get Safariland stuff through work because they sell stuff to his work industry, and he wanted mag pouches, and he wanted them in a certain color. He could get them in black, but he couldn't get them in flat dark earth because ITAR. That's how ridiculous the paperwork is.
Because ISIS.
Yeah, exactly. And Boyd's had a tactical stock one time.
Yeah.
For like 22s. And it wasn't allowed to be shipped because ITAR, but I think they renamed that stock of Varminter, and now it is allowed to be shipped.
Or you could buy it with the gun. You just couldn't get the stock. Yeah, we talked about this when we talked about this in mid-January, I think, as well.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. If you'd like to email the show, send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Podcast reviews, we don't have any this week, but if you'd like to help the show get a little bit more easily recognized, head on over to your podcast app of choice and give us 5 stars and a review, and we'll probably detect it and read it on the air. Do we have any shoutouts?
Well, I'd like to make a correction to something I said on last week's show. I said that in the afternoon when I was shooting the Steel Challenge, I switched from my production optics gun to my classic gun, and my time was 6 minutes faster. I also, so obviously that's seconds, right? Not minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I also gave Larry way too much credit. I said that he had a stage where he got a 30-second run. Well, in Steel Challenge, you drop your worst run. So
yeah,
that 30.
I didn't know what you were meaning, because you'd usually drop a run or two, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you shoot it 5 times, you drop your worst time. So whether your worst time is 6 seconds or 30 seconds, it's dropped. So it had no bearing on his overall score. I was giving him way too much credit. So I want to take that back and just say that I beat him absolutely fair and square.
Trevor giveth and Trevor taketh away.
You know me, Dave.
Nice.
Sweet. Dave?
Shout out to our favorite show listener, Trevor. It's good to get some listener feedback there from you a couple weeks ago. And shout out to Mad Cat, friend of mine who's a CCFR field officer in Dufferin County. He was representing the CCFR at the Orangeville Gun Show last weekend. So thanks, man. Keep it up.
Sweet. Awesome. Patreon, we have no new Patreon supporters.
No one loves us
this week. No one loves us, except for the Patreonies who do, and we love you too.
Yes.
And if you'd like to help the show, head on over to patreon.com/slamfireradio. You can sponsor the show, and we'll send you a patch and a sticker in the mail eventually.
And we might even provide the extra content that you paid for.
Yeah, we've got to think about something for that. I think extra stuff. We'll see.
Yep.
You can also, if you don't want to give Patreon your money, you can also, if you're going to buy something from Cabela's, go through slamfireradio.com, click on the link, buy your thing. we get a kickback of like, I don't know, 2 or 3%, depends on what it is. If it's a gun, we don't get as much. If it's like something else, we do. So that's cool. Finally, join a National Firearms Association such as the CCFR, especially right now. We're facing some bans, and even if you don't have firearms that are in the ban, they're still coming for your stuff eventually.
Help me.
And
yeah, you're next.
Yeah, it's nice to have a buffer of people who with guns that you don't need or use in between you and the people who are going to grab your guns eventually, and call your pump action shotgun a rapid fire gun and ban it too, as in Australia. So even if you don't ever think you're going to need an AR or a handgun or something like that, try to keep those around just so that there's that extra buffer between you and the grabbers.
I was having that discussion today with a guy at work because I said, "Did you go sign the petition yet?" And he's like, "Why would I sign the petition? All I have is lever guns and pump guns, and I only have one semi-auto, and it's a my freaking duck gun, and and then I got my 1022, but nobody's coming after that, so why would I bother?" I'm like, they're coming after everything eventually. Just give them time. So yeah, if there's going to be nobody to say, help you out when they come after your guns because you already abandoned everyone else, then you're screwed. It's divide and conquer.
Yeah, we don't know what they're going after. When New Zealand did their ban, they said it was going to be military-style semi-autos. They banned all centerfire semi-autos, regardless if they're military-style or not. They banned semi-auto shotguns that could take more than 5 rounds. They banned pump guns that could take more than 5 rounds. So
they banned rimfire, lever action rimfires that held
Washington.
more than 10 rounds.
When Washington did their assault weapon ban, they banned 1022s. Those got in there too. So yes, the Liberals are saying we're going to ban military-style assault weapons like the AR-15, but that is a PR wordplay. They're going to come after the other stuff as well. Yeah. If not this time, which they might, because the other guys have as well, eventually.
And eventually they're going to come after your sniper rifle, which is your deer gun with a scope.
Well,
Remington 700, that's a military sniper rifle.
Yeah. Finally, like us on Facebook. We're at 2,341 likes. And with that, see you next week. See you next week.
Bye.
Next week. Bye. Time to get a gun. That's what I'm thinking. If I could afford one.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.